Karen demanded my garage keys at 5 a.m. I showed her the deed and a security team. The morning was still, the kind of quiet that blankets a neighborhood at 5 a.m., when the world feels like it's holding its breath. I was sipping coffee, savoring the calm, when a sharp knock shattered the silence. It wasn't a polite tap, it was a demand. A fist pounding my front door like it owed someone money. I opened it to find Karen, my neighbor of 3 months, standing there, eyes blazing, her voice already halfway to a shout. "Give me the keys to your garage. Now." Her words weren't a request. They were a command, laced with an entitlement I'd never heard before. I blinked, still clutching my mug. "Excuse me?" "Your garage," she snapped, pointing at the detached structure behind my house. "It's on my property line. I need it for storage. Hand over the keys." Her tone was sharp enough to cut glass, and her posture, arms crossed, chin jutted forward, screamed she wasn't leaving without a fight. I'd heard about Karen from other neighbors. She'd moved into the cul-de-sac with a reputation for disputes. A fence too tall, a mailbox in her way, a dog that barked too loud. But this was new. My garage, built by my grandfather, was as much a part of this house as the walls I slept within. I set my coffee down, feeling my pulse quicken. "Karen, that garage is mine. I have the deed." Her eyes narrowed. "Deeds can be wrong. I had a surveyor out last week. Your garage is 6 inches over my line. It's mine. Keys. Now." 6 inches. The absurdity of it hit me like a slap. 6 inches, and she was ready to claim my family's legacy? I stepped onto the porch, closing the door behind me. "You're mistaken. I'll show you the deed, and we can settle this like adults." Karen laughed, a cold, mocking sound. "Adults? I've already called my lawyer. You'll be hearing from him, unless you hand over those keys right now." She took a step closer, her voice dropping to a venomous whisper. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be." The air crackled with tension. I could feel my neighbor's curtains twitching, eyes peering from behind blinds. This wasn't just about a garage, Anna Maria, it was about principle, about standing up to someone who thought they could bully their way into what wasn't theirs. I went inside, grabbed the deed from my safe, and called a security team I'd used for a previous neighborhood issue. If Karen wanted a showdown, she'd get one. By the time I returned, Karen was pacing my driveway, her phone pressed to her ear, barking orders at someone, her lawyer, I assumed. The security team pulled up, 2 men in crisp uniforms stepping out, their presence a silent warning. I held up the deed, my voice steady but burning. "This is my property, Karen. Every inch of it. Back off." Her face twisted, a mix of disbelief and rage. "You think a piece of paper and some hired muscle scare me? I'll have this in court by Monday." That's when the twist came. A third figure emerged from the shadows of Karen's yard, her husband, Tom. A quiet man who'd always seemed embarrassed by her antics. He looked exhausted, his shoulders slumped, a man carrying the weight of her chaos. "Karen, stop," he said, his voice low but firm. "I checked the survey myself. You're wrong. The garage is his." The silence that followed was deafening. Karen's mouth opened, then closed, her certainty crumbling. Tom turned to me, his eyes apologetic. "She got the survey mixed up with another property. I'm sorry. She's been stressed." Stressed? I wanted to laugh, but the bitterness in my chest stopped me. This wasn't just a mistake, it was an assault. A power play that had spiraled out of control. Karen's face flushed red, but she didn't apologize. She spun on her heel and stormed back to her house, leaving Tom standing there, looking like a man who'd just defused a bomb. The security team stayed until I was sure she wouldn't return. I thanked Tom, who nodded and muttered something about trying to keep the peace. But peace felt far away. The neighborhood, once a haven, now felt like a battleground, with lines drawn not just in deeds but in trust broken. As the sun rose higher, I stood in my driveway, the deed still in my hand. The garage wasn't just a building, it was my grandfather's hands shaping wood. My childhood summers spent tinkering inside. Karen's demand wasn't just about keys. It was about erasing something sacred. And though I'd won, the victory tasted bitter. Her entitlement had cracked the fragile harmony of our community, exposing how quickly trust could unravel. Tom's intervention had been the twist that saved the day, but it didn't erase the sting of Karen's audacity. I wondered how many others she'd bullied. How many had given in to avoid her wrath. The deed was mine, the garage was mine, but the cost of proving it was a wound that wouldn't heal easily. What do you think? Where does justice lie when personal battles fracture a community?